Good evening and salam keluarga Malaysia. You're watching News at 10. I'm Brendan Paul. Making the headlines tonight. Venting to be boosted to thwart illegal immigrants. Retard machine to be used nationwide during Ramadan. Thanks for your company. Now, the strength of Op Benteng will be increased with additional members if necessary, following the reopening of the country's borders starting yesterday. Chief of Defence Forces General Tan Sri Effendi Buang said the entry of immigrants into the country through illegal or red trails was expected to increase, following the reopening of the economic sector and employment opportunities. Commenting further on the matter, Tan Sri Effendi said the armed forces will study the traffic trend of the entry of illegal immigrants first with a commander in the field and see if there is a need to increase the number of personnel at the border control centre.
Ini kita memang dah jangka. Oleh yang demikian, apa yang berlaku sekarang ini dari pihak tentera, pengawalan sempadan kita perketatkan, ya, melihat akan potensi-potensi akan mereka akan masuk. Buat masa ini kita telah pun Op Benteng masih lagi berjalan dan peningkatan ini telah pun kita beritahu dekat unit-unit yang membuat pengawalan ini untuk memperketatkan lagi mereka.
He added that every officer and personnel of the control unit at the country's borders had been informed to be on alert and increase surveillance. Meanwhile, General Tan Sri Effendi said the building of additional blocks and some renovation works at the prestigious Royal Military College RMC, which will be equipped with a logistics and maintenance complex, vehicle fleet, armory and a business site are expected to be completed by the middle of next year. He added that the Ministry of Defence had approved an allocation of almost 11 million ringgit for the construction of the additional blocks and renovation works. According to the General, work on the upgrading project started on 15 December and was expected to be completed by 14th June next year.
Selain itu, MTD juga bakal dilengkapi dengan fasilitis sekit merentas halangan serta menara abseiling dan flying fox yang baru. Pembinaan sekit dan menara berkenaan telah diluluskan dan kini dalam proses reka bentuk oleh bahagian Perkhidmatan Kejuruteraan Pertahanan.
On the admission quota for RMC students to University Pertahanan Nasional Malaysia, General Tan Sri Effendi said so far it remained at 40% to open space for RMC students to further their studies and then join the armed forces. He said admission to RMC also remained open only for Form 4 and 5 students, and there was no proposals to recruit trainees from Forms 1 to 3. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPDN-HEP, is planning to introduce and encourage the use of Retard Machine nationwide in order to reduce food surplus at food premises, especially during Ramadan. It is a tool that can commercially sterilize the food after they are stored in airtight packaging. Deputy Minister Dato' Rosawai had explained that currently only 4 states have been using the retard technology, namely Perlis, Terengganu, Johor and Kuala Lumpur. The machine, estimated to be worth about 38,000 ringgit, is used under the food bank program.
Bukan sisa, tapi makanan yang kadang-kadang hidang banyak, tiba-tiba tak disentuh, dulu dia buang. Hari ini kita ada mesin restock, diberi mula sumbangan daripada KPDN untuk proses makanan tersebut dan dibuat disir semua sekali. Makanan ini dikatakan tahan 2 tahun dan boleh berhubung dengan KPDN untuk berurusan.
He said that last year the country recorded about 17 tons of food surplus daily. He also advised consumers that wish to have buffet meals to check the prices of food and inform the ministry if they are more expensive than what has been advertised. The government is hoping for a swift decision by the Saudi Arabian government on this year's Hajj quota for Malaysian pilgrims. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Religious Affairs, Dato' Idris Ahmad, said this would facilitate early preparations in terms of hotel accommodation and transportation. According to Dato' Idris, the government understands the constraints faced by Saudi Arabia following the COVID-19 pandemic, but it hoped that Malaysia would be given an increased Hajj quota this year. He also revealed that the government would be prioritizing Hajj pilgrims listed for the years 2020 and 2021 to perform the ritual this year.
Ya, kita mungkin akan utamakan hak yang jamaah 2020, 2021 dulu. Maknanya kita buat jana, kita akan utamakan mereka dulu. Tahun 2020, lepas penuh yang tu kita masuk 2021. InsyaAllah bersedia, dia orang get ready lah kan. Tunggu, sebab tu kita pun suruh bersedia lah. Sepatutnya memang benda tu dah awal, tapi boleh buat itu luar kemampuan kita. Dan Saudi pun mereka juga mengalami constraint yang sebut tadi, COVID kan, dia baru buka sempadan umrah.
The usual Hajj quota for Malaysia prior to the pandemic was 32,000 people. The implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU for the recruitment and protection of Indonesian domestic helpers PDI in Malaysia, which has been signed by both countries yesterday, requires continued cooperation between Malaysia and Indonesia. The signing of the MOU PDI marked a historic day as the previous agreement ended in 2016. The results of intensive discussions led by Human Resources Minister Dato' Sri M. Saravanan and his Indonesian counterpart, Manpower Minister Ida Fauzia, were successfully finalized within 6 months. The latest developments showed that Malaysia is always committed in ensuring that the recruitment and protection of workers, including Indonesians, are always guaranteed and their welfare protected. Dato' Sri Saravanan said although various initiatives, including the implementation of the one-channel system, have been agreed upon by both countries in the MOU, Malaysia can only monitor workers who come into the country legally. Thus, Indonesia's support is much needed in preventing workers from entering illegally, and the minister added he also understands that the matter cannot be controlled 100%, but emphasized more decisive and effective action must be taken. Other details in the MOU are the costs of bringing in PDI has been set at below 15,000 ringgit and will be reviewed every 3 months. And an e-wages system will be implemented to monitor salary payments, where each employer needs to pay wages before the 7th of each month, among others. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Rayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria have tested positive for COVID-19 and will be undergoing self-quarantine at the Istana Negara. Comptroller of the Royal Household for Istana Negara, Dato' Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, in a statement said Al-Sultan Abdullah is undergoing quarantine until Thursday, while Tunku Haja Azizah until Friday. Dato' Ahmad Fadil said their Majesties consented to undergo self-quarantine in line with the protocols and standard operating procedures stipulated by the Health Ministry for COVID-19 cases with no or mild symptoms. He noted that the King and Queen are only experiencing mild symptoms and their Majesties are in good health condition. Dato' Ahmad Fadil also said in conjunction with Ramadan, Al-Sultan Abdullah called on all Malaysians to always be vigilant and practice self-discipline, even though the country entered the transition to endemic phase yesterday. The King also urged the people to pray for their Majesties' speedy recovery and long-lasting health. Meanwhile, Al-Sultan Abdullah and Tunku Haja Azizah conveyed their Ramadan greetings to all Muslims in the country and urged them to enliven Ramadan with meaningful activities and strengthen brotherhood with others. The King decreed for Muslims to take advantage of the blessed Ramadan to further strengthen their faith, as well as increase their religious activities and good deeds. The public are also encouraged to welcome the holy month of fasting with repentance and gratitude for the trials and blessings that have been bestowed upon them. His Majesty also advised the people not to be complacent and to practice self-control even though the country is in transition to endemic phase of COVID-19. Al-Sultan Abdullah hoped that the people can remain strong in facing the challenges of COVID-19 and adhere to the stipulated standard operating procedures, apart from taking the booster dose to protect themselves and families. The king also called on all Muslims to take the blessings of Ramadan to pray that Malaysia will always be protected from any forms of threat and so that the COVID-19 will end soon. Coming up next, Negeri Sembilan, Melaka, Perlis reported happiest states. Stay with us. The Terengganu government will intensify awareness campaigns on the importance of getting children vaccinated against COVID-19, including through tazkirah or religious talk slots at mosques and suraus in the state during the months of Ramadan. State Local Government Housing, Health and Environment Committee Chairman Dr. Alias Raza said this was because Terengganu still recorded the second lowest vaccination rate under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Children, PIC Kids, since it was launched last February. According to Dr. Alias, as of yesterday, only 12.4% or 22,240 people of the overall 178,700 children aged 5 to 11 in Terengganu had received the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine.
Sebenarnya nak menjaga keselamatan, mengelakkan daripada terkena COVID-19 dan akhirnya dapat komplikasi yang teruk. Dan yang kita sebut hari ini dah masuk endemik. Maksudnya kawalan dari segi kerajaan sudah kita buka dah. PKP dah tak ada lah. Tak ada kawalan kita lagi. Terserahlah pada masing-masing untuk jaga. Jadi kalau kita menggunakan sektor ekonomi, sosial, jamu kahwin, kenduri, apa lagi, sembahyang rapat-rapat, kita boleh bermori, kita boleh buka puasa, maka aktiviti sosial boleh. Tak ada orang nak kawal dah. Yang penting jaga diri kita supaya kalau jangkit pun tak teruk. Itulah dengan vaksin.
Dr. Alias said despite facing challenges in eliminating the negative perceptions of parents towards the vaccine, the state government would adopt a more prudent approach in dealing with them. He said this after launching the Nafas Baru Bermula Ramadan campaign and the state-level Cakna Undang-Undang Kesehatan Awam operation in Kuala Terengganu today. The Malaysian Rubber Board, LGM, said the rubber production incentive, IPG, for smallholders was not activated in March 2022 in Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. This is because throughout the month, the average price for kaplam at farm gate for Peninsular Malaysia was RM2.95 per kilogram, Sabah RM2.60 per kilogram, and Sarawak RM2.80 per kilogram. In a press statement today, LJM said it wants to be informed that IPG Kaplamp and latex was not activated for March 2022 in Peninsular Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak. Therefore, no payment was made during the month. IPG would be activated if the average monthly price of standard Malaysian rubber grade SMR20 free on board is at RM6.10 per kg, or if the Kaplamp farm gate price falls below RM2.50 per kg. For IPG latex, it would be activated when the IPG Kaplamp is activated. The IPG latex rate is fixed at 90 cents per kg of 100% dry rubber content. This IPG would be paid to qualified smallholders who are Malaysian citizens. Negeri Sembilan, Melaka and Perlis have been listed by the Town and Country Planning Department, Plan Malaysia, as the happiest states in the country after districts on the state scored 80% in the 2021 Happiness Index study for cities in Malaysia. In Negeri Sembilan, State Secretary Dr. Razali Abdul Malik said the development of each town in the state was implemented based on their strengths and capabilities, as well as 3 thrusts under the Negeri Sembilan structure plan: 2045. The three thrusts are to develop the districts of Seremban and Port Dickson, while Kuala Pilah, Tampin, Rembau and Jempol will be empowered through agropolis development that incorporates agricultural elements, and Jelebu as a biodiversity area that emphasizes natural resources conservation. In Malacca, the Malacca Historic City Council, MBMB, which obtained a score of 91.97%, has drawn up various strategies and carried out efforts to improve the quality of public service delivery to ensure that the state continues to achieve its happy status. Mayor Datuk Zainal Abu said it included the services offered such as providing good infrastructure, responding to complaints promptly, as well as implementing beautification projects in the surrounding areas. In Perlis, State New Growth Centres Development Committee Chairman Asmaiza Ahmad said, with a population of more than 254.7 thousand, Perlis has facilities and infrastructure that are on par with other states. She said apart from that, the proposed Perlis Inland Port PIP project will also help support the development of the vicinity surrounding the state. Asmaiza added that the Kanga Municipal Council recorded a score of 80.02% in the Happiness Index study. In other news, police have arrested a female teacher over the alleged abuse of 4 boys at a private kindergarten in Muar. Johor Criminal Investigations Department Head Senior Assistant Commissioner Shahuri Nain Jaya said the arrest was to facilitate investigations into a suspected abuse case at a private kindergarten in Muar. Elaborating further on the matter through a statement released today, SAC Shahuri Nain said the incident involved a teacher who is suspected of abusing 4 children aged between 3 and 5. He said an initial investigation showed that on 31st of March, one of the victim's mother received a video showing her child being abused by the teacher. He also said the incident is believed to have happened in November last year, and all the victims have been taken to the Sultanah Fatimah Specialist Hospital for medical checkups. The Johor CID head added that the suspect turned herself in to the police yesterday and is being held under remand until the 7th of April to assist the investigation under Section 31, Subsection 1, Subsection A of the Child Act 2001. That wraps up tonight's edition of News at 10. In our top story, Op Benteng to be boosted to thwart illegal immigrants. Tune in to updates at noon on TV2 at Salaran Berita RTM at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow. You can also stream it with RTM Click's website and mobile app. Till then, Keluarga Malaysia, it's lights out. I'm Brendan Nepal. Have an awesome weekend and thank you for watching.